Hello guys, welcome to back to another video on my channel. So today we are beginning with number 80, and that is the sinking of the SS Berlin. On on at 5 a.m. on Thursday 21st February 1907, the Hook Lighthouse keeper recorded that the SS Berlin was navigating the channel when she suddenly veered off course northward after a huge wave struck her port quarter. Captain Precious and pilot Bronders managed to return the ship to her original course, but another wave struck Berlin and she swung northward again, causing her to become impaled on the tip of the granite breakwater at the entrance of the new waterway. Waves continued to sweep over the vessel, and soon the captain and pilot were swept overboard. A Dutch steamer attempted to offer aid, but the rough seas prevented her from approaching the stricken vessel. Berlin broke into two amidships at 6 a.m. The majority of those on board had fled to the bow, which sank when the ship broke in half. The Dutch steam lifeboat President Van Hill could not close with the survivors on the stern of the vessel due to weather. Only one man, a Captain Parkinson, who was traveling as a passenger, was able to swim to the safety of the lifeboat. Prince Henry made a visit the following day and went out on the pilot boat as Helvosley and President Van Hill attempted to recover the bodies from the sea and rescue the 15 people remaining on the stern. The rescue of the people required a great deal of effort. An important role in this rescue was played by lifeboat Captain Martin Spurley, who used a small boat to reach the northern pier and ascend its iron beacon, from where he was able to throw ropes to the deck of the wreck to rescue 11 of the survivors. The aftermath, the correct number of persons on board the ferry at that time was apparently not immediately known. Estimates in English newspapers ranged from 128 to 180 persons on board. It is now known that 128 of 144 persons on board were killed, including about 40 crew members. The tragedy was a very large disaster for its time, and the investigations into it became the standard for later government investigation of shipping accidents. You can see in the fourth picture there on the right, you can see the Berlin bow going under. Very scary sight. We move to number 79, the sinking of the Laconia. Or just to mention, the SS Berlin sank in 1907, belonging to the United Kingdom. So, the sinking of the Laconia. On 22nd December at around 11 p.m., a steward noticed thick smoke seeping under the door of the ship's hairdressing room. Upon opening the door, he found the room completely ablaze, and the fire rushed into the hallway towards the staterooms. He and another steward tried to fight the flames with fire extinguishers, but the fire spread too fast to be contained. One of the men ran to notify the ship's purser, Antonio Borghetti. Fire alarm sounded. At the time the fire was discovered, most of the passengers were in the ship's ballroom, called the Laconia Room, dancing at the Tropical Trams Ball. The passengers began to notice the smell of smoke, but most dismissed it as strong cigar smoke. Captain Zabris, who had been notified of the fire, tried to make an announcement on the ship's public address system, but the fire had disabled it. As smoke began to fill the ballroom at 11:30, the band stopped playing and the cruise director, George Herbert, ushered the frightened passengers to the broad deck. Many passengers who had been asleep in their cabins found themselves unable to escape the fire. Some passengers were told to go to the main dining room to await instructions, but most ignored this order since the dining room lay directly in the path of the fire. Evacuations of the ship was very difficult. Some lifeboats burned before they could be lowered. Two of the lifeboats swamped, spilling their occupants into the sea. One went in when it was lowered only by one end, and the other when its davits broke off. Chains had rusted in many of the davits, making boats difficult or impossible to move. Only just over half of the lifeboats made it safely away from Laconia. A distress call was sent at 11:30 p.m. The ship's chief radio officer Antonio sent out the first distress call, and at midnight he sent another distress call. And while a six-man tried to fight the blaze, it became too big, and the fire spread too quickly to be contained. Several people who dove overboard struck the side of the ship on their way down, killing them before they hit the water. Passengers were angered when the ship radio operator left the ship in a launch with the nurse and two musicians. He later testified that he had left to rescue people from the water. He stated that he did not return to the ship because the current pushed the launch away. Passengers also claimed that some of the crewmen took advantage of the chaos to loot staterooms. At 3:30 a.m., 4 hours after the first distress call, the 495-foot Argentine passenger ship Salta arrived on the scene. Commanded by Captain Joseph Berrier, and had been on her way from Genoa, Italy to Buenos Aires. The 440-foot British cargo ship Montcalm arrived half an hour later at 4 a.m. Majority of the survivors were saved by these two cruise ships. Salta rescued 475 people and took aboard most of Laconia's lifeboats. In the hours that followed, Belgian ship Charlesville, the USA freighter Rio Grande, the British passenger ship Stratton and Panamanian freighter Mehin all arrived to join the rescue. Also, the United States Air Force sent 4 C-54 aircraft from the largest field in the Azores. The planes dropped flares, life jackets, life rafts, and survival kits to people in the water. An RF Afro Shackleton from Gibraltar crisscrossed the area, pinpointing boats and survivors and guiding rescuers to them. Rescue was hindered that the Laconia drifted for several miles during the evacuation. Charlesville sent a lifeboat shortly after daybreak to rescue Captain Zabris, who was spotted pacing the decks of his still burning ship. He was the last person to leave the Laconia alive. The disaster killed a total of 128 people, 95 were passengers and 33 were crew. Only 53 people were killed in the actual fire. The rest died from exposure, drowning, and injuries sustained while diving overboard. Most of the dead were buried in a Gibraltar cemetery after an autopsy was carried out. The Greek Merchant Marine Ministry conducted a 2-year investigation into Laconia disaster. The Board of Inquiry maintained that Laconia should not have passed safety inspections before sailing. The lifeboat davits were rusted and lockers containing life-saving equipment failed to open. The crew had conducted a lifeboat drill a week before the voyage, but only 5 of the boats were lowered. The board argued that all of the boats should have been tested. Charges of looting were dropped after extensive questioning. 8 of the Laconia officers were charged with negligence. Captain Zabris, his first officer, and the ship's security officer were charged with gross negligence. The other 5 men were charged with simple negligence. The cause of the fire was ultimately determined to be a short circuit of faulty electrical wiring. We now move to number 78, the sinking of the USS Thresher. On 9th April 1963, Thresher, commanded by Lieutenant Commander John Wellesley, left for Maine at 8 a.m. and met with the submarine rescue ship Skylark at 11 a.m. That afternoon, Thresher conducted an initial trim dive test, surfaced, and then performed a second dive to half of her 1,300-foot test depth. She remained submerged overnight and reestablished underwater communications with Skylark at 6:30 a.m. on 10th April to commence deep dive trials. Following standard practice, Thresher slowly dove deeper as she traveled in circles under Skylark to remain within communications distance, pausing every 30 meters of depth to check the integrity of all systems. As Thresher neared her test depth, Skylark received garbled communications over underwater telephone indicating minor difficulties, half positive up angle attempting to blow, and then a final ever more garbled message that included the number 900. When Skylark received no further communications, surface observer gradually realized Thresher had sunk. 15 Navy ships were en route to the search area by mid-afternoon. At 6:30 p.m., the commander of Submarine Force Atlantic sent word to Portsmouth Naval Shipyard to begin notifying the crew's family members. President John F. Kennedy ordered all flags to be flown at half-staff from 12 to 15th April in honor of the 129 lost submariners and shipyard personnel. The Navy quickly mounted an extensive search with surface ships and support from the Naval Research Laboratory with its deep search capability. The inadequacy of by morning of 11th April, submarines USS Seawolf and USS Seawall, both operating near Thresher's locations, were ordered to join in the search of the missing submarine as well. Inadequacy of existing small auxiliary general oceanographic research vessels such as James M. Gills for handling deep-towed search vehicles led to a search for a vessel of a size and configuration that could handle such equipment. On 9th July 2021, the United States Navy, sorry, that's a bit too far. That's a bit too far. Okay, let me just say there. On 9th July 2021, the United States Navy declassified the narrative of the submarines roof during the search for the Thresher. The Seawolf detected acoustic signals at 23.5 kHz and 3.5 kHz, as well as metal banging noises, which were interpreted at the time as originating from the thresher. That while operating as a unit of the search force, the USS Seawolf recorded possible electric emissions and underwater noises. None of the signals which Seawolf received equated with anything that could have originated from human beings. So the Navy conducted a course of that and found out it was believed that they had likely imploded at a depth of 400 to 610 meters, and so that may have been, and that led them to believe that the cause of the sinking of the USS Thresher was due to imploding. We now move to number 77, the sinking of the city, the Voltron. The SS Voltron was on a voyage from Rotterdam to New York City carrying a mixed load of passengers, mostly who were immigrants. That included high flammable chemicals. About 6 a.m. on 9th October 1913, it caught fire during a gale in the North Atlantic. The cargo hold in the front was engulfed in flames. Shortly afterwards, some cargo exploded. The fire spread to the ship's coal bunkers, cutting power to the fire pumps. The crew fought the fire for about 2 hours, but realizing the severity of the fire and the limited actions for dousing, radioed an SOS. 11 ships responded to the ship's reported positions, arriving throughout the day and into the next. Several lifeboats with women and children were launched, all either capsizing or were smashed by the ship's hull, leaving no one alive from the first boats. The captain of the RMS Carmanian, the first ship to arrive at around noon, took command of the rescue efforts. Barr had the other 9 vessels from the former battle line and slowly encircled the burning ship. Throughout the night of 11th October, Carmania kept one of her satellites on Voltron, with another sweeping the ring of rescue ships to help them avoid collisions. According to one passenger, despite Carmanian's efforts, 2 of the ships reached the Grunland and the French steamer La Touraine almost collided, coming within 5 to 6 meters. In the early morning of 11th October, let me just bring up the picture of the SS Fortune. Yes, there it is. In the early morning of 11th October, the tanker Nageste, one of the 11 rescue vessels, turned on her pumps and sprayed oil on the sea to help calm the surface. The combination of the oil and the lessening storm allowed many more lifeboats to be launched. With all lifeboats recovered by 9 a.m., the rescue ships resumed their original courses. In all, 521 passengers and crew members were rescued by 10 of the 11 ships. The death toll was 135, mostly women and children from the early boat launchings. On the night of 17th October, the Dutch tanker Charlois, unaware of the events of the week before, came upon the still smoldering hulk of the Voltron. Charlois lowered a boat that stood by, attempting to hail any possible survivors on board. When daybreak broke on 18th October, Captain Schmidt saw the full extent of the judgment. Seeing that the Voltron was a hazard to passing ship, He ordered salt from sea cocks opened, scuttling the ships. The rescue ships that were there rescued the following: the RMS Carminian, lead ship of the rescue, rescued one man. SS Kazna rescued 102. The SS Devonian rescued 59. The SS Crossroad rescued 105. The SS Kronland rescued 90. The SS Laturian rescued 40. The SS Minneapolis 30. The SS Nagaste rescued 29. The SS Ramafnok rescued 119. The SS Heidik rescued 46. The SS Asian responded to the distress but did not participate in the rescue. The SS New York was reported on scene on 10th October but did not participate in the rescue. So, we've looked at a good number of ships. We've looked at the sinking of the Berlin in 1907 that killed 128, the Laconia killing 128 belonging to Greece in 1963, the USS Treasure which sank in 1963 belonging to the US killing 129, the SS Fortuna which we have looked at killing 130 in the year 9. We now move to number 76, the sinking of the Pamir. On the morning of 21st September 1957, she was caught in Hurricane Carry before shortening sail. It was later considered that because the radio officer had also been given substantial administrative tasks, he had not likely received any of the radio storm warnings. She had also not responded to radio hails by ships that sighted her earlier in the voyage. She soon listed severely to the port in the sudden storm. As hatchways and other openings were not closed at once, they probably allowed considerably an amounts of water to enter, as found by the commission, which examined the probable causes of the sinking. The shipping company lawyer at the investigation claimed that the water entered her due to a leak. She sent distress signals before capsizing at 1:03 local time and sinking after drifting keel up for 30 minutes in the middle of the Atlantic, 600 nautical miles or 1,100 kilometers southwest of the Azores. 3 damaged lifeboats had come loose before or during the capsizing, and the only lifeboat that had been deployed was drifting nearby. A 9-day search for survivors was organized by the United States Coast Guard cutter Abysscon, but only 4 crewmen and 2 cadets were rescued alive from 2 of the lifeboats. It was reported that many of the 86 men on board had managed to reach the boats, but most died in the next 3 days. As none of the officers nor the captain survived, the reason for the capsizing remained uncertain. The sinking made headlines around the world. It was a national tragedy in Germany. The ship belonged to West Germany and sank in 1957, killing 132 people on board. Only 6 survivors, making it the 76th disaster on our list. Number 75, the sinking of the Princess Victoria in 1953, belonging to the United Kingdom. At 9:46 hours, almost 2 hours after leaving Stranda, a message was transmitted in Morse code. Since Princess Victoria did not have a radio telephone, by radio operator David brought food to the Port Patrick radio station. Urgent assistance of the drag was required, as she said, with a list to starboard caused by shifting cargo. Water continued to enter the ship. At 10:32 hours, an SOS message was finally transmitted. The first warship in the area was HMS Morro Castle, which was en route to Derry. Searches were carried out, but the ship was forced to leave when her containers were contaminated by salt. Another ship was dispatched, the Gianni Spears, and as also was the HMS Content. Although she came close to her position at 13:30 hours, poor visibility prevented the crew from seeing the sinking ship. The destroyers had been trying to maintain a speed of 31 knots to reach the listing ferry, but after sustaining damage from the sea, she was forced to reduce her speed to 16 knots. Princess Victoria was still reporting her position as 5 miles northwest of Causewell Point, but her engines were still turning and even at the speed of 5 knots, were gradually drawing the vessel closer to Northern Ireland. In addition to the naval, RAF and lifeboats then searching, 4 small merchant vessels had been sheltering in Belfast Lough put to sea immediately to assist after hearing the transmission that gave Princess Victoria position to be near their anchorage. Despite arriving before the lifeboats, the merchant ships were unable to rescue the survivors in the lifeboats, as the fierce waves were in danger of smashing the smaller boats against the sides of the larger ships. The captains of the merchant ships were each appointed members of the Order of the British Empire. There were 44 survivors, all men, and none of the ship's officers were among them. The wreck lay undiscovered until 1992, when a team of chromatic diving led by John Mackenzie and funded by BBC, working from data provided by Royal Navy seabed, were able to locate it northeast of Copeland Islands in 90 meters of water. The next ship we shall consider now is the SS Rio de Janeiro. The SS Rio de Janeiro. On 22nd February 1901, while passing through Golden State in heavy fog, she collided with rocks reportedly on the southern part of the strait. The catastrophe happened quickly and in dense fog. Fortunately, Italian fishermen were nearby and were able to rescue survivors clinging to floating wreckage. Of the 210 people on board, 82 were rescued but 128 died. The captain, William Ward, was among the dead. After the shipwreck, rumors circulated that the ship's cargo had included substantial amount of gold and silver, but a manifest listed no such cargo. The ship's insurers paid a sum of $79,000 for the loss of metal, which on December 13, 2014, would be worth now in our money $2,900,000. That makes it one of our deadliest disaster, positioning her at number 74. We now move to number 73, the sinking of the SS Guru. The sinking is still the most severe maritime disaster in the Finnish lake and sank on 7th September 1929 in the Lake Näsjövir in Tampere, Finland. The ship capsized due to heavy winds, and there were some claims of up to 11.5 Beaufort. The capsizing was mostly due to an very high center of gravity. In 1927, a third deck level had been added without expert help or inspecting the balance of the ship. The big waves brought water onto the deck and the water couldn't flow away. The wreck was raised in the same year and repaired. The ship suffered only minor damage. She served in use until 1939. During the First World War, she served as part of the Imperial Russian Navy's Santa Kutna flotilla. And that marks that one for the 70. Let me just count here. We are now moving to number 72, the sinking of the Morro Castle. She was the SS Morro Castle. She was an American ocean liner that in the early morning hours of 8th September 1934, while en route from Havana to New York, the passenger ship caught fire and burned, killing 137 passengers and crew members out of the 549 aboard. The ship was beached near Asbury Park, New Jersey, and remained there for several months until she was eventually towed away and sold for scrap, making it the 72nd deadliest disaster on our list. Number 71, the sinking of the Moby Prince. The Moby Prince was a major maritime disaster resulting in 140 deaths. On 10th April 1991, the Italian ferry Moby Prince collided with the oil tanker Abruzzo in Livorno harbor and caught fire, killing 140 of the 141 people aboard. It is the worst disaster in the Italian merchant navy since World War II. It is also considered one of the two worst environmental disasters in Italian history, along with the explosion and loss of the tanker Amoco Milford Haven on the following day in an unrelated accident near Voltri. On 28 May 1998, the ship's hull sank while impounded in a dock in Lake-No Harbor. It was later refloated and sent to be scrapped in Turkey. Number 71 is that the Moby Prince. Number 70 is the sinking of the Cebu city. She was a ferry operated by William Lines Incorporated. On December 2nd, 1994, the 2,452-ton ferry sank in Manila Bay after colliding with Singaporean freighter Kota-Surya, claiming 140 lives. After the investigation by the Philippine Coast Guard, the crew of Cebu City was found responsible for the incident. The collision could have been avoided if the Cebu Prince had obeyed a call from the freighter Kota-Surya to turn to starboard. Instead, the Cebu City reportedly turned to port and crossed Kota-Surya's path. Number 69, the sinking of the Morro Castle Riga, that sank in the Daugava River on 13th August 1950, killing 147 people. Number 68, the sinking of the Morro Castle-USA on 10th On 10th January 1989, the ferry Morro Castle-USA collided with a tugboat on the Danube River near Galati. Of those on board, between 151 and 239 were killed and 16 to 18 survived, making it the 68th deadliest disaster. Number 67, the sinking of the Kumbana. The Kumbana, the SS Kumbana was a late Edwardian-era passenger cargo and mail carrying steamship. From March 1909 to March 1912, she operated coastliner services between Fremantle, Western Australia, and various ports in the north-west of that state. She is best known for disappearing at an unknown location north of Petland, Western Australia during a tropical cyclone on 20th March 1912, killing 74 passengers and 76 crew in total, 150 people on board. No traces were ever found of the ship. Other than the small quantity of wreckage. Number 60. Let me just count again. You see, when you're doing these videos, you lose counts. So, number 65, the sinking of the large. Number 69, the sinking of the Larchmont. On 12 February 1907, the paddler steamer Larchmont sank off Block Island, Rhode Island, after colliding with the schooner Harry non-Lawton. About 150 of the 200 aboard were lost, making it the 65th deadliest disaster on our list. Number 64, the sinking of the Princess of the Orient. She was a passenger ferry owned by Sulpicio Lines that sank off Fortune Island near the province of Cavite and Batangas in the island of Luzon, the Philippines, on September 1998. While traveling from Manila to Cebu, she sailed into Typhoon Vicky. She capsized at 12:55 p.m. near the Fortune Island. Of the 388 passengers aboard, an estimated 150 died. Passengers floated in the sea for more than 12 hours before rescuers were able to reach the survivors, making it the 64th disaster on our list. Number 63, the sinking of the Scandinavian Star. The MS Scandinavian Star, originally named the MS Massalia, was a car and passenger ferry built in France in 1971. The ship was set on fire on April 1971, killing 159 people. The official investigation determined the fire had been caused by a convicted arsonist who died in the place. Making it the 63rd disaster. Number 62, the sinking of the Shiun Maru. The Shiun Maru disaster was a ship collision in Japan on 11th May 1955. The ship collided in dense fog with her sister ship Ukomaru in the Central Inland Sea and sank with the loss of 166 passengers and 2 crew members, making it the 62nd disaster on our list. Number 61, the sinking of the SS Southern Cross. She was a steam-powered sealing vessel that operated primarily in Norway and Newfoundland and Labrador. She was lost at sea returning from the seal hunt on March 31st, 1914, killing all 174 men aboard in the same storm that killed 78 crewmen from the SS Newfoundland. A collective tragedy became known as the 1914 Newfoundland sealing disaster. Well, we've gone through a good number of these ship disasters. We've gone through about 40 of them. Still 60 more to go before we end this list. So keep watching for more of these maritime disasters. Anyways, that's it for now. But before I go, let me just do a quick recap of the ships that we've seen. Let me just do this. The SS Southern Cross. This is the only picture that we have. That was the last site. These are some of the only pictures we have. Then we've seen the Shiun Maru. Now the Scandinavian Star. The MS Scandinavian Star. Yes, that is it. The Scandinavian Star. So you can use your pictures to look at you can use your phones to look at the pictures here. So that's the Scandinavian Star. Then let me show you the princess of the MV Princess of. So let me just do this. Princess of the Orient. There you can see pictures of it, that beautiful ocean liner, the passenger ferry, sorry. You can look at it nicely. You can even pause during the video to look at the nice. You can see there as she is capsized. Very nice photos. Let's move away from that. Those ones are not important. Then we cannot pictures of the Larchmont. Let me just see if I can get it. The Larchmont. Just do ship. Yes, we got. Yes, the ones with these ones are the ones that we only have preserved pictures. You cannot get. So that is that. Let me just show the Kumbana. Kumbana. Yes, that is the Kumbana. The SS Kumbana. Very nice ship. You can pause during the video to look at the nice pictures. When you look at that article that is preserved there. Nice, very nice. Then let me just show you the Morro So here, ship. Afraid these are the only pictures available. Only this is the only picture. I'm afraid now let me just do the merger. Call this kiss. Well, that is that. Now the SS. Did I show you the MV QB City? Let me just show you Cebu City. The MV QB City. There. Yes, that is that. Now did I show you the movie Prince Disaster? No, I don't think so. You are in a hurry. Yes, you can see the Moby Prince there on fire as ships try to put it out. Such a tremendous fire. As I said, it is the one of the two most worst environmental disasters. There is the arsonist here. If you can see him, is the one that caused the fire. It's a tremendous loss of a beautiful ship. Well, did I show you the SS Morro Castle? Let me just Morro. The SS Morro Castle. There, the ships lost. Some even none of us have ever had. Even personally, when I had these ships, I even wondered, did these ships actually exist? This such a tremendous loss of beautiful vessels. Well, let me see if the SS Crew. Yes, that is the SS Crew. Yes. Well, the next ones are the city of Rio de Janeiro. So, what can we take from this? These disasters have occurred. We can't reverse them. We can't go back in time and change what happened, prevent these hundreds of people from dying. But we can keep these things in memory. So, I will continue making. We are still left with, I will talk to I'll see if I can pull out another video by Tuesday. Tuesday I may launch the episode 3 of this. This is episode 2. So, I best be getting out of here. It's getting late anyway. Anyways, guys, thanks for your time. Leave a like and a comment. And also, don't forget to subscribe for more maritime and also maritime videos. The more you subscribe, the more support I get. The more we get, the more I am able to create the channel more. We may even do live streams. So get us to 1,000 subscribers and you'll get a live stream for sure. Anyways, I best be leaving. Anyways, thanks for your time. I maybe let me end this video. Bye.